Someone once said, the quality of your life is dependent on the quality of the questions you ask. I've not been able to determine who it was that first said this, although Tony Robbins, the popular psychologist, is the closest to the person that I found that originally said this. But I believe this is very relevant as we consider the future of prompt engineering and the directions in which it needs to go from here. And that is, the quality of your life is dependent on the quality of the questions you ask. Certainly, as we saw in the very first episodes of this course, the very first lessons, in computers, there is a phenomenon of garbage in, garbage out. If you give garbage input to an AI system, no matter how powerful it is, you're going to get garbage out. There's the same kind of phenomenon in our lives as human beings. If we ask garbage questions or poor questions, we're going to get poor answers. So, in light of this, I asked ChatGPT and Bard a couple of questions that were based off of ideas that were initially suggested by Google Bard. And the first question is, what's the potential of prompt engineering to revolutionize the way we interact with AI? And there's kind of some hyperbole type words in here like revolutionize. And this answer talks about improved usability, greater customization and personalization, bias mitigation, control. ChatGPT always talks about bias, and of course there is bias, right? We all have bias. It's good to be aware of bias. As a Christian, I think about, idolatry is something that is related to bias. If we're worshiping a created thing, it has limits, and there's going to be bias involved in that. And that needs to be, to some extent, mitigated. Control over output. And so the more that we can understand how to create a good prompt, how to craft and engineer a good prompt, the more control we'll have over the output. And we can have task-specific optimization, and we can have enhanced productivity, and we can engage in rapid prototyping and experimentation. Again, the old computing principle, garbage in, garbage out, applies to AI. Relates to the biblical principles of you reap what you sow. And what was the other one? Seek and you will find. So if you're seeking something specific, then you will have a greater likelihood of finding it. All right, what are some challenges? Well, we'll come back to that in a moment. What does Bard say? What's the potential? Making AI models more accessible to a wide range of people. Make the AI models more user-friendly, make them more creative, and give some specific use cases in education, in healthcare, in business. And so I think a lot of this stuff about prompt engineering relates to what is even worth knowing, like what's most valuable, what's most important. So, and a lot of times we don't even know what to ask, right? So the more that we can know what to ask, for example, in the realm of education, like who are the most important authors that I should know, right? In healthcare, what are the most common diseases, or what are the diseases that up until this point in time have proven to be most stubborn? So those sorts of questions can start to put us in the direction of fruitful avenues of additional research in prompt engineering. A lot of times it relates to a specific body of knowledge. And again, the challenge there is often answering the question, what? Like, what should I even start to focus on here? Let's get down into some specific challenges with prompt engineering. So technical expertise. Writing a good prompt does require a knowledge of grammar, right? You need to know what a subject is, a noun is, what a verb is, what an adjective is, right? What's the difference between a question word and a verb, and a verb that is in the imperative mood? The more you understand those things, the more you will be able to write effective prompts. In addition, we've seen in some of these lessons that, if you look underneath the hood of ChatGPT, which we haven't really done, there are some parameters and so forth that can be used to tweak the input. And we've also found that context is extremely important in getting useful results. Give some other interesting things here. Let's see what Bard has to say. I actually thought Bard's answer was very helpful. So there is a need for better tools and resources, and specifically what it mentioned was online tutorials and courses. That's what I've been trying to do in these series of videos. Prompt libraries and generators. So for example, these could relate to a specific body of knowledge. For example, could be medical body of knowledge, or business body of knowledge, or liberal arts body of knowledge. And again, the challenge there is, where do I start? Where do I start? So having some libraries of prompts could be extremely helpful and valuable to people, just helping them to know where to start. And then it also suggests prompt evaluation tools. Now that's an interesting idea. How can I tell how good my prompt is? Does it provide enough context? Could it provide more? Is it concise? Is it vague? Does it have ambiguity in it? So these suggest a number of future directions for prompt engineering, certainly ideas for what I can consider as I think about additional videos to create. I will close by going back to the quote, the sentence, the proposition that the quality of your life is dependent on the quality of the questions you ask. The quality of your life is dependent on the quality of the questions you ask. So, thank you for joining me on this journey of seeking to get better results from Google Bard and ChatGPT by asking better questions. And please leave some comments on this video if you found it helpful, and suggest ideas for where we can go next. If this video is valuable to you, please click the like button and also subscribe to this channel. In addition, please consider becoming a patron of AI Bootcamp or buying me some brain fuel using the links in the video description.